You don't want to be chairman or not? Oh, no, I'm fine being a chairman. I just want to make sure I know I wasn't the last one in.
I'm here.
Just let the minutes reflect. I wasn't the last
Craig
one.
was not last
I was not last.
or late.
Or late. I think that's everybody, isn't it? Go ahead and get this thing fired up then. I guess let the minutes reflect that all the board members that are present are here and it's enough to make a quorum. The minutes were sent out in a packet. Hope everybody's got a chance to review those and looking for any corrections or addition. If
Make a
not,
motion approval.
a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Financial reports. They were provided to you also, but if anyone has any questions, comments.
Real quick question. Under this last column, variance. What exactly do you do?
It's the difference between what you budgeted for and your actual.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
So you're over. When it shows those parentheses, that means you're over. So we're about starting off the first month for 15% ahead of what we estimated for this month.
Well, I like to hear.
Yeah, it's all, yeah, it's good.
That's great.
Other
Other
than
than
varies through the years, but it changes a little.
that,
Some-
anything else jumping out at us? Go ahead, I'm sorry, John.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Just some of that private prison funds in there where we raised that rate.
Have we got any feedback on that yet?
Not a word, not me. I hadn't. I don't know if anybody else has.
Okay. Motion to approve financials for this month?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Financial reports have. And Miss Tina, the league adjustment request. I think we were following up. We was gonna get back to the ladies and see what.
Yeah, I found nothing to help her with, as far as, I guess, in my mind, we kind of felt like we failed to do something, and that's what we looked to see if we did. And to my knowledge, the ladies, it felt like they didn't fail to offer insurance or do anything. I think they might be confusing there with Ms. Dyer. She could answer that if she wants to. But that's what we looked into, to make sure we didn't deny her the right to sign up on insurance or anything, and I found no evidence of that. What I did looking into it, the insurance company, said if she had been insured, they would have paid her claim, but they would have went after your contractor for his part of that. It's just like it's what they call it, subrogation. They would have went after their part of that money to your contractor, who would, if you had the warranty or whatever it was, or he had liability insurance, whatever it was, they would have went after him. So that's what they told us, and that's how insurance works. It's the same thing as automobile or whatever. They would have got their money back from someone else.
So even if I'd had the leak protection at that time, they wouldn't have paid? I mean,
They would have paid it, but they would have went after his insurance for their payment of it, for your paying out on your behalf.
Why did we not get the bill for 2 months?
The first month, the 4th, you signed up on 3/7, so you wouldn't get billed the next month. That happens sometimes. It just depends on when you sign up for water. The next month was, it was not entered into our, we had a little issue with our software program. They didn't put it on a line item and it didn't bill out. And we had all new customers that month was like that, so we found it and fixed it. It's something in the software that was fixed. And that being said, even you would have had, for your leak started on 7, let's see, let me get my dates right. 6/1 was when the data we pulled showed your leak started. And since when you had denied insurance when you first came in and signed up, everybody that either goes off insurance or does not take it, there's a 30-day waiting period. Your leak was 6/1. You'd had to sign up at the end of April to even be covered. So if you hadn't signed up on insurance by probably April the 31st or somewhere in there, you would have been not covered anyway for that 6/1 leak. They got a 30-day waiting period for you to be covered once you start back.
But there was 2 months that we didn't get a bill.
The fourth, like I said, you didn't get it because of when you set up account, it just don't bill you out. You get put in a waiting period. If you signed up so many days before, we wouldn't bill you.
out the same
If
month.
you signed up 5 days before the 10th, for instance, we're not gonna bill you a minimum bill. We're gonna put that carry over to the next month. You'd have to sign up more closer to the end of the last month, because you'd had a month and a half of water bill then. So you would have paid the minimum then. It just depends on when you sign up.
I think what's been hard for us to kind of understand about the glitch and the whole bit that you're talking about is because we had walked up to the neighbors and talked to them one day, because they're building the same kind of house. And at that time, this was, and it's just a guess, I'm gonna say March, when I talked to this gentleman. And he had had a water meter since October. And I just made a casual conversation with him, and I asked him, I said, why are we all paying bills when we don't have water lines going to our house? And he said, I ain't paying no bill. Well, then I came in and asked the ladies, and then that's right after that is when I didn't get the 2 months. And I guess maybe something drawed somebody's attention to it, I don't know.
When you sign up for service, you start getting billed. No matter whether you use it or don't use it, whether you're hooked up or not, you start getting billed a minimum bill. That's what starts your billing cycle.
I think that's been part of the confusion for us.
Why
Does
he
it make
would-
sense?
He didn't get a bill for all those months, and
Well, I don't know who that is.
because we weren't even,
I don't know who that is. We'd have to look into that. I don't know.
the meter.
I guess then I'm confused then if they were receiving minimum bills throughout this, why would there have been that gap? When they
Because
did?
it was in the contractor's name.
Name
And
swap.
The
then-
contractor has opened it up in his name first. He got all his bills.
Mhm.
Okay.
But we paid those.
Yes.
Right.
Was your contractor here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Do you not have a year's warranty with your contractor?
Can you answer that, Marcus? I
Yes,
think
sir.
we do.
Yep, absolutely.
Then why wouldn't he be responsible for it? You didn't cause the leak.
We hadn't even taken possession of the house yet. It happened while it was still being built.
In view of what this gentleman here said, it would fall back on your contractor. It shouldn't fall back on you. You didn't cause the leak. Maybe your contractor didn't, but it was his responsibility. If he's got insurance, then he should pay it, or his insurance should pay it, not you. It's pretty customary in building homes that you have at least a year's warranty to cover stuff like that, incidentals that kick up. And I know you don't want to hear that.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
that's the way it is.
the way a one-year warranty works, it doesn't cover utilities and the loss of utilities. It would just cover the fixing of the break if it happened. So obviously, as soon as we found out about it, we came down, we dug it all up, we replaced it, repaired it, and fixed it. But that wouldn't actually fall on us for a water bill or an electric bill or anything of that sort, as far as the warranty is concerned.
I have to disagree with that.
The leak was actually caused through shoddy workmanship, I guess you could say. That's what caused the leak. But it happened. And all we're wanting to do is see if we can get somebody to help us, because, it's $3,600.
Any more
Mr.
discussion?
Wheeler made a suggestion about extending their payment plan a little longer, making it a little easier on them if we could do that. That's the only thing he made a suggestion of. He's not here tonight, but we did discuss it. That's about the only thing I know we can do to help them.
Any other thoughts? No thoughts?
I will say this on our contractor's behalf, I know he's sitting here. He's our actual main contractor, he's not the one that did our water line.
He was
He's so-called tried
subcontractor.
to get out, and it was not by our contractor, I just want that to be known.
Sure.
I mean, you put the blame where it lies, and it's not with him. This man's been nothing but good to us about trying to help us.
If he subbed it out, it still comes back to him. He's at the head of the string.
I mean, I understand that, I just want to know it's not personally with him.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It was,
This is a bad situation, and with my insurance background too, with a break that soon, even though it's not your policy to cover the water loss, if they were to push it, it probably would fall back on your insurance, though, unfortunately, on your liability. So if, I mean,
Well, I'm sure my insurance is gonna say, but it was in their name and they should have had insurance on it, you know, I mean, it's gonna be a fight. You know, if it goes to court, I'm confident it will, if y'all say, you know,
Yeah.
tough, it's not our problem, so. And I guess we'll let them do that out, unfortunately, but. I was on city council 8 years up in Lafayette, so I've sat in y'all's seats, you know, so I know it's tough and I know y'all have to go abide by policy, so. I wholeheartedly understand that. In the same breath, it's a little tough on my end just cause being in that position, I know it costs y'all 0.008 cents for a gallon of water, so, you know, so as far as your true loss, you know, it would have been pennies versus the $3,600 that you're charging them. And, you know, I do think that maybe on a policy from your perspective, moving forward, I don't know why you don't just require it as part of your all's deal so you don't keep having these issues. Just say everybody has to have insurance and be done with it, you know. Because I think you're gonna have more and more of this come up, and obviously we've talked around and we've heard some actually pretty prominent people have this same issue.
that was brought up when we did take out the insurance, but we still, as a service to our customers, I think what we thought about at the board, we didn't want to force them into something that they didn't want to do. We wanted to ultimately give them a choice instead of being big government pushing down on them.
Right.
We wanted to give them a choice on what they wanted to do. So that's our thinking, our board's thinking. I think that's what we talked about when we set that up. We wanted to give our customers a chance
Right.
to say, hey, no, don't push that on us. I'm out, you know.
Well, if she'd had insurance, the insurance paid it, they'd still fell back on him.
Right.
And we'd be glad to look at helping her lessen the, figure out stretching the payments out if y'all wish. That's about all I know to do to help her.
We'll have to squad.
I'm not opposed to that, but I think you mentioned that the actual cost of the water may not be that significant big picture wise, but the really truly big problem is breaking policy.
Nah.
If we do it this time, it's going to open this board and this utility up to just endless amounts of customers that they can make a case. You've done it in the past for the $5 bills and then the $100,000 bill. The prison, they come to us and say, we missed out on $1 million worth of water. We want you to waive this $1 million bill because of this instance. And I just,
Set a bad precedent.
it's a bad precedent. I'm very sympathetic with your position, but I just personally think that we have to kind of stick to policy based and set that precedent. Any help we can give within the rules and the policies we have, I think that's great.
Technically have a rule that says we can do the 12-month plan, but we do try to help people if we can. It's an exorbitant amount of money for what it is, and we've helped people like this, and they might come in at tax time and pay it off or whatever. We'll help lower their payment down a little bit, and they promise to come in. I get my tax check, I'll pay that. And we've done that with people before in similar situations. But we hardly ever stretch it past a year. It's not that it's something we can look at and try to help them on some on it if that'll help them.
How many times does this situation pop up where someone
We've got another one right
denies?
now, I think it's 170-some thousand, I think, coming up.
Dollars?
No, Gallons. I'm sorry. Gallons. I don't know.
They got
the
Mark's
number,
attention.
But,
So they denied coverage
I think
originally,
I think that's the case in this one.
and then they said they came back in to try to,
No, well, not this one, no. I mean, I just know there's the one that denied the coverage and they got a 176,000 gallon water bill. You know, you tell one of the decisions, one reason we did it, because our water losses, it's not like in the old days, it's not like it used to be. I know you quoted it, we're losing pennies on the dollar. But, you know, we wrote off $60,000 worth of debt loss to this utility for water bills being adjusted. And the comptroller holds us accountable for they're holding us accountable, they're gonna hold us accountable for every penny of water, a drop of water we lose. We have to keep getting the stringent requirement of passing this AWA standard they put out on us. And we didn't pass it this year because we didn't do everything we were supposed to do. We're fixing that. But this next year, we got to make an 80 grade on that to pass. And you have to do all this, calibrate your meters, you got to do all this stuff. And this water loss is one of the big issues with the comptroller. Our water loss tied to the audit, the financial audit. They want to make sure utilities are not losing this money. And that's why we went to the insurance and to stop losing that money, because we don't lose it no more. The customer still gets a leak adjustment. It just gets paid by the insurance company. And that's why we went to it. The money we was losing would pay a payment for a project or do something that could be used instead of lost. And that's why we went to do that. And a lot of utilities getting popular more and more. There are people coming on to insurance. Our neighbors doing it, Castigan's going on it. It's just getting more and more where we're doing it to keep in compliance with federal regulation, state regulation.
I want to ask again, we do feel confident that we handled them correctly when they came in.
As best as you can tell with the testimony. See, that's what I was sharing with the mayor. You know, we train. We got extra training for this, because every time when the ladies get a new customer, we go through everything we offer from bank draft on down to insurance. They go through it. They explain when your bill's due, when it's late. Be sure to get in here this time, or you get a penalty. They go through all that with every new customer, every new person that comes in. If you come in and move from one house to another, you sign a new contract, and they go through all that with you again. And we have those forms ready, available. If somebody just walks in off the street and says, "I want to sign up on that," they'll fill it out completely, and all they have to do is sign it if they request it. And that's what we were trained to do.
I agree with that part, but at the same time, can I ask you this? I am a new customer, even though I've been paying the bill for a few months. I didn't know if I sat here in this last water board meeting that I had to not turn it into the city of Hartsville. Nobody, if they're trained, nobody told me where I even had to turn it
Turn
into.
it into what now?
Who do I turn into what? If I was to have a water leak today, I have no idea where to turn it into.
You can call here and they'll instruct you to call that 1-800 number.
I heard that 1-800 number here, and since then, I talked to some more Trousdale County residents, and they said something about there's a pamphlet that I should have been given.
We did a advertisement when we started this process. We advertised for 2 months before we actually went online with the insurance, so the customer could get the pamphlet, read it, understand it, ask questions.
Okay, that's
And it
where
was
they were telling me
notifying,
about a pamphlet.
it was notifying them, yes, we did put people as, they're already was opted in, and they had to opt out. And another reason why we had to do the opt-in was you had to get, that was how we got our rate set. You had to opt everybody in to get your rate set, and then people could opt out if they didn't want it. And that's what the advertisement was for, to explain all that. We did it for a few months before we went online, and people would call about it, but we did advertise. And then when we did the commercial, we did the same thing. We advertised the commercial for a month or two period, and they were opted in, and they could opt out if they didn't want it.
I just want to make a
That's what that
suggestion,
is, yeah.
and it's just a suggestion. because of seeing from our eyes, we were you moving in, you might really wanna think about getting a pamphlet to hand out to your new people, because there again, I found this out through an older person that had Fowlsville County water. That's just a suggestion for you as a water board, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know what the leak protection was the first bill I got, because I didn't know, like I said, it was put in his name first. And then I had to ask the girls, and they told me that's what it was. But there again, I think as a new customer, when I signed to get that meter put in my name, it would be a good idea. And I'm just saying for your water board, just a suggestion. I would hand out pamphlets to people. Because we have no idea, and then we're not from.
They are up there readily available to give out. We do have them to give out. And if somebody asks for it, a lot of times if somebody comes off the street, says, I wanna do my claim, and we tell them here, that we hand them the pamphlet, but it has the number on it. So we do that, man. It's already something we do.
I had not gotten one, that's the only reason I said that.
Yeah,
It was
we
just
do
a
that.
suggestion.
Something new we did that when any new customer, we added that to the contracts. So when the customer comes in, they will say, yes, I want it, or no, I don't. And that's the only difference now between when we started the program. We've added that to the contract, so when a customer comes in, it is on your contract. You have to say yes or no. It tells you what it costs, and they have to sign it, say they want it or don't want it. So that's on our contracts. And,
Do you have a percentage of the people that opted out after the first original?
I don't know about the first. We have 200 and over 2,600 customers residential, and we have some odd number of commercial. And we have a total of 3,061 customers. So 3/4 of your customer base are on this insurance already. Not to mention some commercial.
Make sure we're on it.
We need something in the form of a motion to resolve this, man. Are we ready to put something, or we still need some more discussion? What's everybody thinking? It's hard, this is tough one, guys. This is, I mean, we're dealing with a new customer. Just moved to Tri-State County, and know we wanna make it right. We need to set policy to where but we do have to. Any other comments, suggestions?
I understand set precedent, man, but I don't like it. It's just a mess. I think these are extenuating circumstances too, with all the parties involved. I don't think this is just a standard water leak situation.
Agree, but if we're gonna do something, I highly recommend you do it through policy, not on the cuff, not make a
No,
decision.
I mean, I agree.
You know, that's why I highly
I,
recommend that.
I agree with not,
You might not-
not opening doors you don't wanna have to open again,
If you open it, it'll be open again.
How much is the bill?
The original bill was $3,553. Hold on, I'm trying to tell you exactly.
but,
$35.53.79. I've already paid one part of it, which, I'm sorry, it was like $297, I believe it was, is what I've already paid. And then we put a stop on it last month till we met again.
I think you mentioned about the only other thing we can do is be extend the bill out, isn't it, Larry?
Well, that's a recommendation from the chairman. He said that's what I don't think he could think to help.
I'm
That
sorry,
we could
I paid
do without-
$296.15 the first time.
Without that.
No specified time, right? On what we've normally extended?
Like I say, that's not a rule here. That's where I came from. If somebody had could not get adjustment if you, like, cause most utilities, it's once a year, you get adjustment. If you got a second bad leak or something, if we couldn't do it again. But we would do a payment plan, it really wasn't a rule, and it's not a rule here. But it's just something to help a customer out until they could either make arrangements to pay it in full later down the road, or,
Any other comments? I'll make a motion. Motion to deny the bill adjustment due to policy we have, but extend all efforts we can with payment plans, etc., to the best of our ability. Is that
Got a motion on the board. Somebody want to second that? Any more comments to that?
So it's deny her request for the leak adjustment and then extend it with
extended
kind of an
payment
indefinite
plan?
period, or
I think we suggested a 12-month plan. Is
we did
that
a 12-month. That's what this is. The 296 is a 12-month plan.
well, I was just looking at this, if give her credit for what she's already paid, the remaining amount, if you divide that by 18 months, so they'll be adding 6 months on to the 12-month period, that'd be $180.98 a month.
And we also,
What's y'all's normal water bill run?
Right,
she
I don't know.
not only paid the $296, we also paid the $30-something dollar for the regular water bill. So you're looking at, how much was it? $300?
They have to pay their regular bill with that.
It was
You
$300.
have to pay your regular bill plus that, whatever that is.
Right.
And I'm sorry, what was your question?
I was just curious what your normal water bill runs.
I'll be honest with
They
you,
don't
sir,
know.
we've only had 2 months and it's been
I
like,
apologize.
it's okay, 33, 70 something like that. I
Me
think.
personally, I'm willing to extend it as far as y'all need it to go.
When we were paying it before, when we got it out of contractor's name, it was 33.
I think I'm telling you
With
right, I can look
insurance.
back, I think
A minute,
33,
something else.
72, something
Is a
like that is
minimum.
what I was
Yeah, thank
thinking.
It was a minimum.
Minus a few cents here or there, but I know it's 33, 70 something.
2 people in the household, right? Is that what it would be?
Yes.
Probably close to that every month,
You made a comment a while ago that I kind of latched on to. You said it was shoddy work. What proof of that do you have? You know, it looks like shoddy work, all right. You see that,
Yeah, I'd
guys?
like to look at it. Looks like a slip.
Did that break or just come loose? I don't know.
Pop loose,
Yeah, never was put in
right there
properly.
at the meter.
Yeah, wasn't put in properly.
For the life of us though, since I'm so paranoid, is a good word I think for it. Since this leak, he can't mow the yard, I don't say pull that meter off and look.
I'm
Because we
constantly
didn't
checking
see
it now.
nothing.
I
I
can
mean, we
believe it.
really truly didn't see anything to let us know, or this would have never got out of hand like it
The
did.
water, there was no, normally that amount of leak, there would have been water, the ditches would be full. There was no water.
It followed the line.
And now
lined
we're
up.
constantly,
No.
every Sunday, he's down there pulling the meter, just because we want to make sure.
Let me ask you this, have you had any other things other than that? You
Matter of fact,
subbed,
we
you
had
subbed
a-
that out. Well, does your subcontractor have insurance?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any comments on this situation? Any ownership of the problem or anything else, or is he just
At this,
washing his hands of it?
well, his thoughts is, you know, like his insurance is instructed as well, you know, did you fix the problem? Yes, we went and fixed the problem. You know, so as far as the water loss, they're saying, well, there was insurance provided, you know, or able to get, you know, so that's their stance on it.
Well, it looks like you're a victim of circumstances. If your contractor won't help you and the people put it in won't help you, the only other thing I see you can do is take it to the next level, which is beyond us. I'm talking about take it to court. My experience in home building is you've got a year's warranty And this thing should be covered under that. Now, who's responsible for it? That's not for me to say.
I just don't like asking people to court. I hope you understand that. That's just not our nature.
It's not,
It's just really not.
you're a victim of circumstance, and I don't know what else to say about it. People put it in are the ones that should step up and help you with it. Of course, they're not going to unless you make them, which means you'd have to take them to court. Is it worth it for that amount of money? I don't know.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've been honest with the contractor. I've talked to lawyers about taking it to court. Because, quite honestly, I just don't feel like we ought to have to pay it.
Well, I don't feel like you ought to have to pay it either.
I'm
agree.
not no jury and I'm not no judge.
I
just
think
don't
we
feel
all
like we
feel
ought to
that
have to pay
way.
it. And I was just asking for help.
Well, if you
Stop
asked
me
your
to let them
contractor and the other people that at least helped you with it,
I have not personally talked to him, no sir, I have not. I've been dealing with who I hired, which was him, which was Mr. Smith, with Modern Structures. That's who I went to. And I
well,
think he's
perhaps
listed
it would
some
be
kind.
cheaper on everybody all the way around if you just come to an agreement and maybe share that thing, because if you have to go to court, everybody's gonna lose. You, contractor, everybody else. But you might could come together and maybe share some of that to where it doesn't beat you to death, because you really shouldn't have to be paying it to start with. If it'd been put in right, you wouldn't have this problem. And even though he hired him, it's still his responsibility that they do it correctly. Well, obviously they didn't.
Let's go back to this motion. We get any more comments or second to?
I'll second
Do we have it?
Do we
Yeah,
want
motion.
to? Do we want to
Yeah.
put a hard date, hard number of
Yeah.
months on that?
Uh,
I don't think
You
it's
guys
a bad
said you want
idea.
to go to further discussion on that? I was just going to suggest adding 6 months to the 12 month, make it 18 months, and then maybe come back when you get closer to 18 month, and then if we need to extend it again then, but I don't want to give just like a blanket,
Yeah.
I agree.
no end date in
Right.
sight.
Is there any kind of policy written on extensions in that manner? It's
What if we extend it to 24?
Because I think you said earlier there was no policy really
Well,
about.
Technical policies.
Well, I mess our books up if we went ahead and went 24. That pushed down to 100. I mean,
I don't like it, I really don't. I mean, if it was up to me alone, I would, we'd have contractors and everybody at the table and we'd be splitting this pie up somehow or another, but, in the meantime, would 18 months be enough, or would 24 months help you? Cause I mean, that's a big water bill payer, man. I'd be
I don't
fighting,
lie to
man.
you right now, that's my car payment.
Yes, ma'am, I
I
understand.
mean, I don't mean no harm, that's my car
No,
payment.
ma'am,
every
I
month.
understand completely.
And that don't say I've got a cheap one, that don't say I've got an expensive car payment, that's just my car payment.
That's an
every month.
expensive water bill though.
And it is.
We just got our first light bill, and due to his help building this house with us,
Was to save money.
and our first light bill was $100. And we're gonna be paying more water bill than our light bill.
I understand, but just in the meantime, because I agree with Mr. Ford. I mean, I'd say, hey, let's all sit down at the table and see if we can hack this up where everybody can stomach it, because everybody bears some level of responsibility.
I'll tell you this, I'll try the 18 months, just to be honest, I'll try it. And if I see that I get in a bind, that health, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not trying to throw a health card out here, so please don't misunderstand me. But this man's just left today from a heart doctor again. That we went through a spell when we was building this house. Depends on how his health does, and if he does not get to work, I can't sit here and promise y'all, because that's not me. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'll pay 18 months at $180, $190 a month, and then if he don't get to work, I can't pay it, then I've lied to y'all, and I'm not gonna do that. That's just not me. If it come down to that, I would like the ability to come back to the water board and say, look, I've got this going on, can y'all please help me some
I
more?
don't think that's unreasonable, and I think everybody here understands that sometimes circumstances do change.
And I don't want you, I don't wanna feel like I'm throwing my health card out there, I'm just telling you that's what's going on in our
Well,
lives right
let's
now.
push this thing. Let's push this thing. I mean, far enough that you're not stressing about it every month, but
Oh, I mean, I've cried so much over this, it ain't been funny.
but I mean, how far can we go? Is that's not gonna mess our books up. I mean,
She's paid one. So out of the 12 months, she's 1 month, right? So you got 11 left.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be 17 months from now. So almost a year and a half from now.
How much was it, 301?
It'd be if the payments be 180.98, and that's giving her credit for the 296.15 she's already paid.
And then I'd still pay my 30 cents on top of that, right? So I'll be looking at 210
Mhm.
a month. Is that right? Am I thinking right?
Be whatever
Yeah.
your water bill is.
I'm sorry.
Be plus whatever your water bill is.
Be 210.98.
If your water bill stays the same.
Okay, it does. It's just us two.
If you do 24 months, that makes it 130.74. And then you add, if assuming that your water bill stays at $30, then your total payment would be 165.74.
I mean, to me, that would just give you a little more breathing room, and then obviously if something comes up, then come back.
I'd recommend you go with that, and if you see later you can do better, you'll do better. And if you can't, just extend it on out to 24 months. Because the way I understand it, you're not being charged no interest
No,
anyway.
sir, I'm not.
Then take the 24-month plan.
yeah, let's do 24 months. I mean, we hope that everybody can sit at the table and come together and this all get resolved. But in case you don't, we still want to try to, after looking at it, after seeing that picture, I don't feel, I think doing our part as the water board is to help you extend it. But I think the real issue is getting back with the contractor, him getting with the sub, and y'all all sitting down and rectifying the situation.
I just appreciate y'all listening to us.
No.
You gotta try.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, so I
I've been
think,
told no more than once
We're
in
the
my
big
life.
thing, and we don't know.
right. So you want to add that 24 months?
Yeah,
to that?
so cancel that last motion.
But just amend it.
Just amend the motion to deny the adjustment to the bill and extend a payment plan of 24 months from today to complete payment of the bill.
Your amendment is adding 6 months, basically is what you're doing.
Adding 6 months, correct.
I make a motion that we approve the amendment to the motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Uh,
Opposed?
Now your motion is amended.
Motion is amended. And
Well, I need to sign something with the ladies like I signed before. This is what they had me to sign before.
We usually make people, sometimes ask them to sign an agreement.
Is this something that I need to get to sign when
Well,
I
we
come
need
back
that.
You
in?
can
Since
come
it's
back
coming in
in
front
when
of
you
the
can
board.
and take
When-
care.
I'll come
It'll
back
be
in
in
and
the
pay the
board
office
minutes,
or
just
section
what
or
you need to
something.
sign the contract off.
18 months or 24.
I would
I think
I
so.
like signatures, so everybody's.
I would think you need to document it in
We will.
some case. That way,
We
if
do.
comptroller's office comes around,
We document.
you've got it.
And we made an agreement. One of the reasons we do that, and I'm sure she'll take care of it, is when we do make agreements with people, help them, we try to hold them to their end of that agreement.
Okay.
If they fail to meet it, then we got a reason to say, well, we can't help you. You don't meet these requirements that we set for us.
In circumstances like this, I can't believe your contractor and the other people won't try to help you some. There's no reason why they shouldn't, because they are the ones that's to blame, not you.
Now we'd have to have a vote on the motion as
Okay.
amended.
All
Yeah,
right.
you still gotta,
All right, so the amendment passed, so I guess we need to go back and do the vote. So
motion is amended.
motion as amended
24 months.
24
to
months.
24 months.
And she really does need to sign some documentation on it.
Right, with signed documents.
So just be everybody in favor of the
Everybody in
motion as
favor, everybody in
amended.
favor.
Aye.
Alright.
All opposed.
Alright.
Y'all can't vote. Second time. I'm throwing these tricky ones out here. That, man. It's curveball.
Thank y'all for your time. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is it out of order to address the board?
No, it's not.
You mind if I do that? So obviously, we have to go through the motions, so to speak. So we came here to see if you all could do anything. I hope it's not out of order, but I just wanted to set your all's mind at ease. I didn't want to say much because I don't want to sway votes. I just wanted y'all to do whatever makes sense policy-wise, because I mean, you're all saying vote. And I understand that. We're 8-year city council now, I'm actually on county commission, so now we're doing that. And we've run into a lot of issues. Just last week, we run into an issue with somebody that wanted a culvert put in on their land, not necessarily on the right of way. So anyway, just wanted to assure you guys that we will certainly work with her. I've been in business 20 years. I didn't get here and build 400 houses and be as successful as I am by leaving anybody hanging. So we're not going to leave her hanging. We're not going to leave you all hanging. I just want to make sure y'all knew that. I'll definitely get with the installer. To my understanding, when I spoke to him, obviously it's rocky down here. We're having to go around a rock, and she does have a tight budget. Wanted to, so instead of hoe ramming or something like that, we tried to bend around it. It would have been easy to add a 22.5-degree angle to that pipe and solve that problem, I think. But to be honest, I never did see that actual tie-in. So I can confidently say that somehow I'll work that out. I'll run it by my insurance. I'll run it by Adrian Powell and Sons Insurance, see if they can work something out. If they can't, then I'm confident we'll split it 3 ways, or we'll make it work somehow, but we'll get y'all paid a lot sooner than 24 months.
All right. All right.
Well, we're
Thank
just
you.
trying to take care of them
Yeah.
now and
I
hope
understand.
that you guys will
I
fall
understand
in and
completely.
do some
Yeah.
of the same.
But we appreciate your effort for sure on your all's end to try to extend. I think you've gone to the maximum you all can do,
Right.
and not preaching to the choir, but I think the more of these that come up, you may want to start looking at a different policy as far as how you handle these, because I'm afraid you're going to have a few more come up, and unfortunately they're $3,000, $4,000 bills is enough to hurt somebody's feelings, so
Right.
we appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate y'all.
Good luck, man.
I ain't gonna say.
No, it's obvious. It's obvious.
Promise y'all, that's what
It's obvious. All right, water loss report.
I won't have it this month.
All right. All right. We'll
hey.
keep,
Now, well,
we'll keep.
I'm trying to get the auditor's report for the final year done. I'll have to get my data from the plan. I didn't have it all together. I apologize.
And I don't see Ed, so we'll skip the barge.
Barge won't be here tonight. They said they couldn't make it.
Gotcha.
They did. I can report on something for you if you want me to, but they did pay some of our money back on the truck and the dump truck. We did get a payment for that.
Good.
They're trying to get the change order for the rest of it done and prepared, and we'll get that soon. So we are in the process.
Get you done first.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. Red, didn't it?
What do you mean
Right.
you saw it? You better not be using.
I need a single axle over there now and then. All right. Evan?
I emailed Felicia Freeman with SRF, asking her, and that was before I left today. I just asked her for an update on when y'all are going to get a notice of funding later. I didn't get a response the time I got down here, so they're pretty good at getting away from Nashville pretty early, so for the traffic. But as soon as I find something, I'll forward it on to Tommy. They're taking their sweet time on getting those letters out. A lot of it has to do with the new governor. It's his first go-round with SRF this time. They also had a CDBG meeting today, and it's basically, they always do a meeting telling us what they're going to change for the next go-round. So the new rules, in other words, that we're going to try to cater to get other grants. But they usually kind of put just enough out there to let you know, hey, we awarded last year's, but it's coming. So they said that right now the rankings are in place. They know who's on the ranking or who's got the money. It's on the governor's desk. They say it's his first year actually doing it. They set aside $1 million that he gets to choose In other words, if you rank really bad, he can still give 2 projects away.
It's his
basically.
discretion.
Yes. So they're waiting on him to make his discretion before they actually release it. So it
We
could
need to
be
make a phone call.
it could be any day that y'all find out about CDBG. And what y'all did for it was the meters. So I'm trying to figure out your water loss zone meters. What we put in for on that one. But as soon as we know that, we'll pass that information on also.
All right. Thank
That's
you.
all of that.
Thank you.
If we do get to do the FlexNet project with the CDBG money, we will get readings daily from customers, not monthly. So that'll change. We'll get notifications, things like happened to her.
This won't happen.
We might could get out a note to them and say, hey, you got a problem.
Right.
525.
Do you remember if I put in for the 80% coverage, or
We got a grant for 525,000.
did I put in for 80% coverage
I
on that?
think so.
So
We'll get majority of our customers will be under that, and we can better help them by monitoring. There's ways to get the other percentage, but
yes,
you'll have to figure out a different way.
it was installing more towers.
More towers, but we're getting at least 3 to 4 towers that will get 80% of our meters covered and read on a daily basis. That keeps us up with water loss. We can put the district monitoring meters out there, which is an inline meter in a big main, and we can monitor those lines too daily and see changes in flow and problems that pop up and be better equipped to figure out and find where we got problems at.
You usually put those in, just so y'all know. I don't think
Yeah.
you got anything.
No.
You put those in, and a lot of times, I'm sure Tommy ain't gonna do it, but it records. There's data. But a lot of times you look about 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
and you can see if there's a leak or not. That's
Yeah.
really when it's going to tail.
Yeah.
And you're not really going to know. You're just going to know it's in that area, and that's why we put them in. So you still got a big area to cover, but you've at least narrowed it down to a certain specific location in the county.
If you do physical audits, that's the best time to be out listening to valves and listening for leaks is at night. Everybody's asleep. If water's running hard, you can usually hear it because they're not pulling on you, and usually you can shut a valve down and listen to those valves and kind of isolate where problems is physically doing it that way. It's a lot harder, takes a lot more time, but technology will make it simpler and quicker to find those things. And that's why they're pushing the grant money for stuff like that to help keep those leaks down. It's all about that water loss stuff.
Gotcha. Appreciate that. General manager report.
I don't have enough quotes to get approval for a diesel generator, but I'm gonna go ahead and look at our other organizations we go to and see if I can get a better price too.
Is this just replacing the existing one
No,
that's
sir, it's
end of life?
installing one that needs one. We had 3 generators and we got them up and checked and running, but it's just too small to run that pump station. It's on the borderline. And Gravel Hill is one of the bigger, it's kind of the transition between a small pump station and a large pump station. And it really it needs it to have a backup generator there.
Do you have to work in engineering or anything to get that size right, or we?
They provided us this.
The engineering board.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can get Evan to look at it too.
I was just curious.
Yeah, we can get him to look at it and check it too, and check their numbers on it, but, that was the pump station that TDEC last survey, not this survey, but last survey had, desired us to fix. It was in kind of dilapidated and didn't have but one pump, and now it's got the dual pumps. It's got it VFD controls in it now. We've had to change out all the electrical in it, and that was the last little phase we did. We put a new electrical control panel in it, new power source deal there inside, new lights and heat and everything inside it is pretty much run down. And the generator, we was hoping to use one that we had, but they was too small. So, and unfortunately, we could have rigged it to run on those generators, but I wouldn't want to chance it. I'd rather have something that would run the whole thing. And but I'll just bring that back to y'all next month with a better price. I'm sure we can get a better price. The price quoted to me was like 20-something thousand, and we probably could save 15-20% going through one of our if we can get it on a state funded, co-ops that we belong to or through the state, we might get a cheaper price on it that way.
Is that gonna help your pressure on Skillet Creek?
No,
That ain't gonna help.
no, it just keeps it running if it fails, power fails. Yeah. And this, I sent y'all out this contractor service agreement. It's just for y'all to review right now. I wanted to see if it's all right to pursue it. One is that y'all look at it. Mr. Don Scholes, y'all might be familiar with him. He's an attorney that works for TAUD, and I use him a lot because we're members of it and we can use him. And he's going over right now. He said he was going to make some suggested word changes to it that make him feel better.
We didn't have this last year, did we?
No.
Okay.
We have an emergency service agreement with a company for electrical, and now that's been in place since I've been here. Before I came, that's in place. And the intent is not to circumvent the purchasing rules of the county here. The intent was if we start doing our own projects, we're going to get into something we can't do. It's going to happen. We're going to hit rock. We're going to have somebody that can do that. Mr. Kemp is he's a local contractor.
Tommy, could I interrupt? I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Could
go
you
ahead.
back up a little bit? I don't know if I even know what we're talking about
Okay.
with this contract.
Yeah. It's basically was a contractor service agreement for things like trenching. Say we go out here and we do this project on 141 and we start digging and we hit 100 feet of rock. We're going to have somebody to either blast that or trench it. This contract would have a set rate per foot, set in stone, looked at yearly and updated yearly on that or any other service like bores. He does our bores right now because we don't have the equipment to do state highway bores. We have to pay him to do that, and that's passed on to the customer.
So it's just kind of it's a standing contract with this contractor to be
We've never had it. No.
on call for something.
Something
So it's a
like
new
that.
contract.
It's a new
for
contract.
somebody as needed.
And
Okay.
Mr. Scholes was looking at it. At first, his first response was, "This ain't gonna work," because I guess he thought we was circumventing. He's an attorney, so he went to the natural far out regions and said, they might circumvent. You might circumvent your bidding process with this. And he said that he felt like if he had time to look at it, he'd have it worded in ways that we could use it and utilize it. And
Is this something we're in a hurry to get in
No,
place,
no,
or
no.
could we? Is there a bidding process to become the independent contractor for a calendar year? or
That's
something
what
like
he's
that?
looking at. He's
Okay.
going to tell us what he thinks, but he wants time to look at it.
Okay.
Did we bring this to him, or did they come to us with this, wanting to do this?
I asked him about it.
Okay.
You already use them a lot anyway, don't you,
We
Tommy?
do.
So
We've
then
used them.
he's your preferred contractor anyway. Then.
Well, he can do the work.
Yeah, he's got
He's
a diamond
reliable.
dip cutter, go right through rock for sewage or water, whatever you got.
He's done some of your projects. Yes, he's done some of the
Mhm.
things. He's very reliable. If you called him tomorrow, he'd be here. I mean, he's usually that quick about something. We turned in a bore to him yesterday. He's going to do it tomorrow. That's how quick he gets on it.
He ain't tied up, he'll be here just
Yeah, he'll.
right off.
He ain't
Same
tired.
guy.
He lives up toward Carthage.
Okay.
He's not that far away.
Pleasant shade.
Pleasant Shade.
So the action right now is you're trying to get a contract,
Yes.
the language in the contract that you can use for
Yes.
a contractor. Okay.
Does the county court need to do anything with this or about this?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, and I was looking through some of the statutes trying to see if this is something we'd have to bid. It's not connected to a project. It's not engineering services or anything like this. They're digging out there. They hit rock. They can't do it. They come in, cut through the rock, and then go again, and then they take off. So I was trying to determine if this is something that needs to be bidded as well. And the statutes I looked at, I don't think cover this, but that doesn't mean there's not something out there that does. And I'm glad Mr. Scholes is looking at it because he has more working knowledge than I do.
I don't put y'all in a position to do something wrong. That's why I asked him to look at it.
Man, that's a county court for you. We do stuff wrong all the time.
I won't put y'all in that position. I'll make sure first. And that's what he's looking at. I won't sit here and tell you a tale. And I talked to Mr. Scholes today, and I said, I know what you thought when you saw that. And I said, I guarantee you it was not. The intent was as I said, if we get out here working on our own projects that we're funding ourselves, doing our own work, if we run into something we cannot, that we just don't have the money to buy the equipment to do, or it's cheaper to let somebody come and dig 100 foot and then be done with it and go on to finish our project. We're just asking for that service if we can. I ain't saying that I'm not saying it can be done.
Does that fall under emergency services in any manner?
Not that.
You know,
Now, I've had to use Mr. Kemp once under an emergency deal where a line had come almost blew apart, and it was in a creek and it wasn't buried properly. It was just on top of the creek bed laying there, and it almost blew apart, and we had to get him, and I stayed within my $10,000 estimate, and we had to try to move and get it done, but in order to stay in $10,000, I had to buy the material myself, and then he did the work, and that kept him under billing me more than $10,000.
I was looking at the compensation, there it is on number 7.
But you know, if you start a job and we're doing them ourselves, the thought was if we could legally do this, and it's proper to do this, and he'll tell you, he'll be honest with you. I know in a utility district, this is not an issue. You can do it. It's not an issue. Utility district exempt to do this. But if county government is a little different animal, governmental entity is a little different animal. So, as a utility district, it is very fine to have a contract like that. But you are different, organized different, in a different way, and we have to follow the county's policy.
And our policy doesn't say anything about professional services.
He said that's what Mr. Scholes mentioned. He says your policy, that's the first thing you hit on. It doesn't say it. And he said, you know, you could probably. The other thing that confused me a little bit, and Mr. Bellard may have just said that he looked at the contract and it looked good. He may not have thought about the intent. And I can ask him about it. Our county attorney looked at it, and he said he approved the contract. That may not mean it's intent, but the contract looked good enough for what it was. And I need to follow up with him, but I didn't get to talk to him. But I'll send it back to him and tell him what Mr. Scholes' concerns was, and he's looking at it. He basically says, you know, if you were going to do this, you could put wording in there with emergency language and stuff in it that might make it muster a little bit better, but you know, it might get questioned too one day.
So he's an attorney too?
He's a specialist in utility law.
Mm-hmm.
And I always refer to him, not to discard Mr. Beller at all, but that's his specialty.
So then we got 3 attorneys that's looking
He's
at it?
free. He's a free attorney.
Well, I'd listen to the other 2 before you listen to me.
He's an attorney, man. He qualifies in my book.
The only thing I can see is just from history from it, you may have to bid it out just in itself. So you put fake quantities in there, 100 foot, and then you'll get contractors to bid on that. And then that's how you set your contract.
24-hour response
for a
time
year.
with a
And then the next year you
few line items.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what Mr. Scholes is going at. He said, you're doing it on a
It
yearly
keeps-
basis, and you got these limits to keep, but you bid it out based on the time frame. And he's going to work. That's what he's working on, to look at it a little closer.
It's how they do, like state aid paving.
Yeah.
I mean, paving grants that cities usually do, that's how they do it though. They don't put the real quantity, they don't make it job specific, it's broad, so then you're comparing apples to apples with everybody, so it's competitive bidding is all they're trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
And that
with
may be
taxpayers' dollars.
That may be that it'll be you have to compete to it. The person that gets
Probably wouldn't be too hard to pull that together. Get 10 or 15 line items of common, a boring, a trenching, a stone busting, and
On 41
Quantities.
long, we got 2 driveways to bore 8-inch line under, which has to be a 16-inch piece of casing under. I'll have to get him to do those, and they might be under my $10,000 limit. And that would be fine to just pay outright. But if it didn't get there and we had a contract that covered it, then we could use that. That's what we're working toward, to do it the right way, legal, that follows state law, not put y'all in a bind where the comptroller comes and says, why'd y'all do that?
Well, if you go through the bidding process, you'll alleviate any comptroller issues.
Yes,
Yeah.
you will.
We about gotta do that.
So we'll work on getting it fine tuned if it's something y'all want to do and look at. I think it'd be helpful to not have to drop the ball and stop the project and wait 3 months to get bid.
yeah, I mean that's why emergency in my mind, you know, because that can cost more spend more money doing something like that than just calling somebody in 24 hours.
If it
On-
keeps
on
me
notice.
from getting chewed out by people who don't have water,
Yeah,
I'm good with it, man. I'm
right.
over it.
Well,
Man, I was at a funeral home the other day and got rained out over somebody not having
Oh,
water.
really? I hate that.
Really?
That was not good tact.
I was like, man, I'm gonna tell them to take my name off that letterhead.
Time and place. Time and place.
All I got hit is lunch before y'all got hit that night. I got 3 places to eat and I get shotgunned at one of them, so daggum, now I'm down to 2. What are you laughing at?
Wonder why I was gonna eat lunch with them.
We'll fix that.
Is that all, Tom?
That's all I have.
All right. I don't
Oh,
see-
well, let me make 2 announcements, please. And I'll get the mayor carried, but September the 5th at 10 o'clock here, T-Deck's having an exit meeting. If y'all are welcome to attend, fine, ain't Mayor. Board members are welcome to attend. It's, they did a sort of a type of survey, sanitary survey for the wastewater facility, which they'll have a closeout meeting to go over that. Y'all welcome to attend if you like it. They'll hold it here at the mayor's office, September 5th at 10 o'clock here. That's the date it's set for. If it changes, T-Deck said they might have a change, but that's what we had on the mayor's books open for that day, so we set it for that day, for him to be here. And they're trying to get the easements for this. I'll share with the mayor today. I'll share with y'all as a board. Not saying to act on it in any way, but we trying to was trying to buy an acre of land of the Carey Brothers lot back here to get a right of way out to planners to put where we're putting our building, to have a better access way out and go out this way. He texted me this morning, asked would we be interested in buying the whole property, which it has a pretty good sized building on it. I don't know how good a shape it is. Anyway, he asked if we'd be entertained that notion of buying the whole building. He said they were thinking about selling anyway.
Who?
Carey Brothers, the
Oh,
metal
okay.
shop building back here. It is a pretty large building, and I ain't gonna say anything that it is bad shape or anything, but we had a certain outlook on what we were gonna build and how we would utilize it, and we're gonna spend probably anywhere from $350,000 to $500,000 to build a building. I think he paid like $400-something thousand for that. So if you could buy it for less than that, I think it would be a decent deal. But I don't know. We'd be probably better off building used to start off in something you don't know what you're gonna get into to modify. But I mean, it's something you could look at. I'm just saying that's the request he made.
Have you looked at it?
I've been in it. Yeah. The metal structure looks good inside. It's got concrete floors. It is spacious. Probably could hold a pipe inside it. I mean, it is big inside.
It's about 60,000 square feet, I
It's a
think.
big
Mm.
Big building.
Oh,
I mean, it's up to
Yeah,
y'all.
it's
I
really
said
big.
all I could do was pass this thought on to y'all, and y'all kick it around. And again, I don't know if a motion's needed, but we still have that out there for the mayor and the executive committee to do any negotiating to get where we need to be. And if I'm sure that still could be in place without a motion. But that's just something I want to share with you. He asked, and I told him I would share it at this meeting with the board as a whole and see what y'all's thoughts was.
No numbers though, right?
I asked him, since you asked about it, do you have a number? And he said no, I guess he recommended an appraisal be done or something.
I would make a motion to leave that in the executive committee's realm of responsibility to kind of investigate that angle
If
as
they
part
wanna
of the.
do that, that'd be fine.
Should we do that or just leave it out there?
It's fine.
Motion to have the executive committee also include this metal building for consideration with that property acquisition.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Uh,
You opposed?
You okay with that, Steve?
Yeah.
Guess I should ask that first.
Hey, comes with the job.
And And that's all I had. I just wanted to make those two announcements. But that was one thing that I wanted to share with y'all.
Supper time, let's
Send us
go.
home. Send us home.
Let's go, supper time.
Send us home.
You buy it.
Motion to adjourn.
There we go.
Second.
Second.
All right.
The only phone number I've got for you is Oklahoma Express. Do you wanna leave it like that, or do you wanna give me?
No, man, I'm in and out of the office. 615-489-3205. That's my cell. You can get me on that 24/7.
Thank
But
you.
I ain't going out checking water then. It's too late.
I hope that guy follows through and does what he said he